Well, hi. Nice
Hi.
to see you. It's
Yeah,
like
you as
been
well.
literally so long.
Yeah.
And I know like we had like and I know we texted a little bit about this, but like we had kind of a falling out for lack of a better term. And then
Yeah.
when you had your miscarriage, you were posting about it, and then when I had mine, it was like
hmm
you were the only person that I knew this had ever happened to. Like,
Yeah.
before yours happened, I didn't even realize this was like a thing that people like experienced. You like honestly were one of the first people that like kind of inspired me to start sharing, because it's like this is not talked about enough.
It's not. Yeah.
You were the only person that like even told me what to expect. You were like, you're gonna get night sweats and this is gonna happen in the middle of the night, and like
Yeah.
your milk is gonna come in. The doctor didn't even tell me that my milk would come in. Like it's just
Yeah.
all of these things.
It's a lot of things that I feel like you don't expect to happen. And because it's not talked about, that you don't know that it could happen, right? Like my
Right.
doctor didn't tell me about the night sweats. And so I literally woke up one night and I thought that I had like peed the bed or I was bleeding or
Yeah.
something because I was soaked. And I was like, what
Yeah.
is going on? But it's such like the drastic drop in your hormones. I'm like, it makes sense, but I never learned about it, didn't know
Right.
anybody that had gone through it. So it's just,
And you
yeah,
like work in nursing. Like,
yeah,
are you
mhm,
in the PICU?
yeah, yep. Pediatric ICU. Yep. So I don't deal with like postpartum moms very often, ever
But
really.
you
So
would think that like you would at least know. Like it just it's
yeah,
wild that this is
yep.
like not an experience that like anyone knows about at all. One of my friends that I met down here in Dallas, after I posted the first podcast, she messaged me and she was like, "Wait, I didn't realize you actually gave birth to a baby." And I was like, "Oh, yeah."
What did you think happened? Yeah. What
Yeah,
did you think
like,
happened? Right.
whoa, wow. I
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
genuinely like people don't know. And I know Oakley died like 2 years ago now.
Yeah. It was 2 years in April.
Okay. Well,
So
I
just
guess,
over.
and I know obviously your story from like how much you've posted, but like tell
Mhm.
me like what happened.
Yeah. So obviously 2 years ago, right? But like it's still, I remember the day like it was yesterday. I was at work and I went to the bathroom and I was like, I hadn't had any cramping, hadn't had any bleeding, like nothing, no signs that Oakley had died. And so I went to the bathroom and I just had like, sorry, TMI, but like discharge, right? And so it was like, it wasn't bloody discharge, it just was like different. And so I was like, well, that seems weird. And just like something in my gut was just like, that's not right. Like, that's not normal. And so I called the OB line and I was like, and this was like 3 o'clock on a Friday, right? Of course. So I called the OB line, let her know what was going on. She was like, well, just to be safe, like, I think we should just get you in. Let's get a scan. And so she was looking around for different appointments. And there was one appointment that was going to be available. It was like in 30 minutes and I was 35 minutes away. And she was like, that doctor won't even wait 5 minutes, like, won't wait. And I was like, okay. So my only option was to go to urgent care. And so I went to urgent care and they did some tests and then they like tried doing a bedside ultrasound to find the fetal heartbeat, or like just the Doppler, which they had never been able to find Oakley's heartbeat with the Doppler at any of my other appointments. Like we always did a little
Really?
bedside ultrasound, which I always thought was like, that's kind of weird. But
Yeah.
I don't know if like my placenta was anterior. I don't know like what exactly, or if it just was,
Why?
that was just Oakley, right? And what was going on. But so I wasn't too worried about it because I was like, okay, like they've never been able to find it with the Doppler. Like I've always needed the little bedside ultrasound and I've been able to see her and see her moving around. And it's been, like that's been fun.
Right.
So they're like, okay, we need like a formal ultrasound. And they don't put the, like, when it's kind of like urgent, right, or an emergency, they don't put the screen up. So you couldn't see what they were doing. So the ultrasound tech's just like sitting there, like scanning, not saying a word. And I'm sitting there like holding Brady's hand, crying because I'm like, this isn't good.
What is happening?
Yeah. And walking into the urgent care too, I was like, do you think this is going to be okay? And he was like, yeah, there's no sign, right? Like, of course she's going to be okay.
You like have no idea what you're walking into.
No idea. And we had to wait, like, it was partly because it was urgent care, right, in April. And so we had to wait probably like 45 minutes in the waiting room to even see the provider. And then we had to wait for a little while to get the ultrasound. And the ultrasound tech, like, normally they can't say anything, right? But she just, I remember she was like, Brady, come closer, like, hold her. There's no longer a heartbeat. And I remember just being like, what the fuck? Like, you're
Right.
joking. Like, this is some sick joke. That's not right. Go find it, This can't be real. And just like, I just like pure shock and then sobbing. And I was just like, what? And she had offered to like print out pictures. And I was like, yep, give me every single picture you took. Like, I want all of the pictures of her. Then because it's urgent care and Friday at now like 6 o'clock, there was no OB available to come talk to us. We had to go back down into the urgent care waiting room, sit there for like another, I swear it was like 45 minutes. And I'm like sitting in a waiting room sobbing with other people. Yeah, I made Brady go up to the desk. I was like, you need to go get me a room right now. Like, I
No
cannot be
kidding.
sitting out here, you know?
And literally, like, my baby just died.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Give me some privacy. Um, yeah. I still, like, spent 2 years and still thinking about the day just
still,
was, like,
yeah.
so emotional. So then we went back to a room and saw the provider that I had seen. And she had prepared me, I don't even remember what she had said, like, said a few things, but was like, she's not an OB, so she didn't know what the next steps were, right? So she was like, an OB will call you like over the weekend and kind of talk through next steps. And somebody had called me that night, and then I talked to another person on
wait, so
Sunday, but
you weren't admitted?
no. So I was sent home, and they're just like, somebody will call you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I'm just supposed to sit here with her in me?
Yeah.
Oh my God, and I did not know that. That is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And of course, I had never gone through anything like this before, so I have no idea what to expect at all. And we didn't have an OB there, so wasn't able to get any answers or next steps or like idea of what to expect.
Right.
And it was, yeah, like now 7:30 on a Friday. So I was like, nothing's going to happen till Monday, you know, I'm like, so now what? Yeah.
Did they tell you like what to expect when you were going home? Like,
Honestly, I don't even really remember. I don't remember.
yeah. No.
I just remember that they told me that an OB would call me and then kind of talk through options. But since I had come from work and Brady had come from work, we had both of our cars there. And I was like, now I have to drive home. Cause I was like, I don't like, we had talked about him driving cause I was a mess, obviously. And I was like, I don't want to have to come back here tomorrow to get my car or another day to come back and get my car. So we both just drove home, and I remember driving home like in silence, like didn't have the radio on and just like sobbed the whole way home.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you guys had like tried to get pregnant with Oakley for a year?
Yeah. 10 months. Mm-hmm. So just under a year. So we had started, I'd gone off birth control in March, and then we found out we were pregnant in December. I'd gone off birth control in February, something like that. Found out we were pregnant in December. But right before that, I had asked my OB about like infertility and just testing, just to kind of like get the ball rolling, because they say that you have to wait a year. I did my the initial progesterone level test. I was supposed to go in for my cycle day 3 test, but I never got to cycle day 3 because then I got a positive pregnancy test. So we had gotten the first. Yeah, so we had gotten like the first round of tests done, right? But then I didn't have my cycle day 3 test because I was pregnant.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I obviously know the story behind her name, but tell me the story behind her name.
Yeah, so Oakley's my maiden name. I really struggled giving my maiden name up. My dad has called me Oakley my whole life.
It's like iconic.
Yeah. And honestly, like my last name's Anderson. I'm like, there's a million Andersons. How many Kaitlin Andersons are out there in the world? Oakley is not super common. I always knew that I was like, when I have a daughter one day, I want to have a daughter named Oakley. And then June, her middle name is my middle name, and my great grandma's name. And then it's also Brady's grandma's name. So it's from
Sweet. I didn't know that. That is so sweet. I love that. You guys like announced on Instagram, because I remember seeing it was St. Patrick's Day, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Love that. And like just all the excitement. You had started painting her room and everything.
Yep. So we had we announced at 14 weeks, thinking like after the first trimester you're safe, and that's what they say. And we had actually did the NIPT testing, so that early genetic screening, and that had come back as low risk. So we are like, okay, she doesn't have a genetic condition or abnormality, and like everything's been looking good on ultrasounds so far, and we're in the clear, right? Like I've been feeling good. So we had started painting the nursery. We had actually gotten the nursery like rocker the day before, that Thursday, and it was sitting in the living room, and I was like holding Louie in it the night before. And we had picked out, like we had ordered our crib, we had planned a baby shower. We just had we had stuff on order. We had
so excited.
I was 17 weeks pregnant. Like I'm halfway done, right? You need to start planning things.
After she had died, you guys did some testing?
We did. Yep. So I went in Monday. So everything happened on a Friday, April 7th, went in Monday, April 10th. My only option really was like a surgical birth, the surgical delivery. So I technically had a D&E with Oakley. So yes, I was 17 weeks, but she was only measuring like just under 15 weeks. So whether she had passed away in me 2 weeks prior, or she just was measuring small because she was triploidy and like genetic condition or what, I don't know. We'll never know, right? And so
They didn't know when you lost the heartbeat then?
no.
Wow.
Not technically. I had an appointment at like 14 weeks, 5 days, 14 weeks, 4 or 5 days, something like that. And we saw the heartbeat and she was alive and moving, but she was only measuring on the last ultrasound was measuring like 14.6. So it's like, okay, did her heart stop the next day after that appointment? Or was she just small and measuring small the whole time and not actually stopped like within the last 2, like did it stop a couple days ago or did it truly stop 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll never know that. So they had told me that since I wasn't 16 weeks, baby wasn't measuring 16 weeks, that I couldn't be admitted to the hospital and like go through delivery.
What?
Yeah. You're supposed to be like 16 weeks for that. But it wasn't, because of how far along I was, it wasn't safe to take misoprostol and take medications and deliver at home either. They didn't feel comfortable doing that. So really my only option was a D&E. Yeah. And so I went into the OR Monday morning, and the doctor that I had met with, so she had called me Sunday. I had talked to like 3 different OBs. So like one OB had called me Friday, one had called me Sunday, and the male that had called me Sunday was like, the doctor that is on tomorrow is the most amazing doctor. Like if any female in my life was going through this, I would want her doing it. And she truly is the most amazing provider I have ever met. Like the most compassionate, just amazing. She'd called me Monday morning and was willing to meet me early. I had like a whole list of questions that I had come up with over the weekend.
That's all you have to do all weekend.
Just think, all weekend long. Yeah. So she took an hour before surgery. It probably pushed her whole entire day back, looking back now. Took an hour and sat with me, answered all of my questions, ran any tests that I had like asked or she had offered. She brought in the ultrasound and let us like look one last time. Katie and my mom were both allowed back in the room where normally they only allow one person. Right. She was truly amazing. I had asked prior, I was like, I want to hold her. And Brady was like, I don't think I'll be able to. Being back in the OR, like he wouldn't have been allowed back there either. And so my doctor was like, okay, like we'll see, right? And I remember waking up and they had stopped whatever medication they were giving me. And I remember like waking up screaming because it like cramping and hurt and just like, yes, right, losing her. And I look over and I saw the doctor like holding Oakley, and I was like, I need to see her. I need to hold her. And she let me. And she just let me sit there and hold her and took pictures for me on her phone and sent them to me. So I have them. She sent pictures in my chart. So I have those. Like, she just was amazing. And like talked about like, different body parts and like what they were, just like everything. Yeah. She was amazing. And she let me just sit there and cry and hold her and talk to her. And I was obviously like on drugs and out of it. But I remember like telling the whole OR room like what her name was and how we came up with it and just how special she was and how much she was loved. And yeah.
You and your mom then back there.
So not in the OR. My mom nobody else was allowed back there, like in the OR. So it was like my mom, Brady, and I in the pre-op room.
Oh my God. So you were alone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. That's like a whole nother level of like, shit, what the hell is happening? Yeah. You have no one to like process with you. And oh my God, I'm so sorry. That just sucks.
Once I was done holding her, they put me back out and finished whatever they needed to do. And then I woke up like on the way back to the PACU room. And I just remember waking up just like sobbing and was like, I need my people. And so they were only usually allow like one person back in PACU. But like my mom and dad were there, Brady's parents were there, my brother and sister-in-law were there. Like, we just surrounded by people there. So, which was good.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah.
But it's like such a, like, I cannot even describe the feeling that like in that hospital room, I'm motionless, but I can't stop sobbing. Like it's like it's such a heavy weight. Yeah. I just can't imagine like seeing her by yourself. Like,
yeah. But I'm also like so thankful that I was able to, because I think that I would always wonder. Right. Absolutely. And I just would regret not being able to hold her.
Absolutely. I think those moments of holding your baby are still like so special.
Yeah. I just remember like tiny little hands and tiny feet, and like they attempted handprints and footprints, and they don't look like handprints and footprints, but I have them and I know what they are, right?
Yes,
But
exactly,
like they're just
exactly.
so small.
You shared a picture of her little hand, and I
Yeah.
like that picture to me like is ingrained in my head forever. Like tiny, tiny little hands.
Tiny,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
like smaller than my pinky nail, like it's
seriously. Like
tiny,
they're
yeah.
so tiny, but like that was the one thing that I was like shocked about Lena. Like everything was just there. It was just
Yeah,
tiny.
like
Like,
right, like it's a full human. It's
yeah,
just so small.
it's crazy.
It's crazy how quickly they form and grow inside of you.
Yes, insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I guess run me through like because then they took her and
Yep.
you
Yeah.
did
So
you do
they took her, did genetic testing on her, infectious testing. They did like every test possible. Basically, they had did other tests on me to see if like I had clotting disorders, if I had any other like things going on that would have caused this. Because at that point we had no idea what would have caused it, right? Like we thought it was a seemingly healthy, normal developing baby, and that I was fine. We then found out it was probably for some reason the date like April 26th sticks in my head. So 2.5 weeks later, we found out that she was triploidy, so technically partial molar pregnancy. That's an extra set of every single chromosome. So there's 3 different ways that can happen, but majority of the times it's 2 sperm and 1 egg. So it just gets a whole extra copy of chromosomes.
Wow.
Yeah. So like trisomy 21, Down syndrome, you have 3 of 21. So normally you have like 2 copies of every single chromosome.
Right.
And then any trisomy is like 1 chromosome has an extra set. You have 3 of those. So she had 3 of everything.
Is that what caused her miscarriage?
Yeah. Yep. So majority of cases of like babies with triploidy don't survive or like result in a live birth if they don't miscarry. Usually it's just earlier on. It's pretty rare to go as long as that I did. And then if they survive through birth and have a live birth, they usually only survive for a couple days.
Yeah. And it's not something that could have ever been predicted or like it just happened.
So it just happens. It's not something we're a carrier of or anything like that. They do actually include it now in NIPT testing. So in early genetic testing, they test for trisomy 21, 13, and 18 is all that we were tested for originally. And now they've added it.
And I know if this isn't something that you want to talk about, that's okay, but your second miscarriage, was that similar? What happened?
Then went on, had Maya, had a healthy baby, right? So
and I want to talk about that too, because I'm sure like that pregnancy was so like
it was awful. I mean, like
it's like
just emotional. It was like, right, not an awful pregnancy, like very easygoing, healthy, whatever pregnancy, but the emotions during that pregnancy were a roller coaster.
I bet.
But so my second miscarriage, I found out I was pregnant this past February. So kind of rewind back to Oakley again. So I went in at what I thought was like 8 weeks, and she was measuring small, but we hadn't been like tracking ovulation or tracking, like tracking some of that stuff. So it's like, I don't know exactly.
Yeah, how do you know?
Right. So she was measuring small at my very first appointment. So we went back in for an additional scan 2 weeks later just to make sure she was growing appropriately. And she had grown the 2 weeks that she was supposed to have grown and was measuring like on track then. So they just had changed my like due date.
Maybe we just got ovulation wrong.
Right, exactly. Then with this last miscarriage back in February, so I went in at what I was supposed to be like 7 weeks, 6 days, and baby was measuring small, was measuring 5 days, about a week behind. And I was like, this isn't good. I was like, this just something's wrong. Maya was on track. Yep. Okay. So I went in to like, I had 800 scans with her. Not actually, but I had like so many scans with her. From day 1, from 6 weeks on, she was measuring on track. Yeah. My last miscarriage, I was like, was measuring small. And I was like, we laughed and I was like, I don't have a good feeling. Like this baby's not going to survive. And Brady was like, don't say that. Like it had a heartbeat. It was in the uterus. Like it's just a little small. And I'm like, I know when I ovulated, I know we should be at 7 weeks, 6 days, and we're not. So I had asked my provider, I was like, I need a follow-up appointment in 2 weeks. I just need to check to make sure that baby's growing. And they're like, well, everything's reassuring, like there's no signs that like it's not going to be a healthy baby. And I was like, this is just what I need. Like, this is what happened in my previous miscarriage. This is what I need. And so then they ordered it. And then sure enough, I went in once again on a Friday at 3 p.m., which I don't know why I did that to myself, but went in and there was no longer a heartbeat. and had only grown about a week. So was not measured. I was supposed to be about 9 weeks and baby was only measuring like 7.5 weeks and then no longer had a heartbeat. So I was like, I just knew in my gut that something was not going to be okay with that baby. So it happened earlier, but
yeah, but it's still like
right.
it almost like piles on the emotion from your
Right.
like it's double the emotion, double everything.
It
Like,
just brings all the emotions back from Oakley. One, you never think you're going to go through a miscarriage, right? Like you hear about it, but you know the statistics 1 in 4. It's not me, right? I'm not the statistic. I was twice. So yeah. So it just like after losing Oakley and then going on and having a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby, I didn't think that it would happen again, right? Like the chance of Oakley was a fluke, right? It wasn't something we were a carrier of. It wasn't something that we did, right? So yeah, and then we had a healthy baby. I'm like, okay, we can do this. We can have another healthy baby.
yeah.
And then we lost that baby, and it's just like, why?
Yeah, right. And it just feels so unfair. Like,
Yeah.
it's why do I have to deal with this twice?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had advocated for a D&C. We found out that that baby had passed or no longer had a heartbeat the Friday before Maya's first birthday. And so
Shit,
we had
right?
yeah, I want a D&C because I don't want to be going through a miscarriage on Maya's first birthday. Like, that's not how I want to remember her first birthday. So they were able to get me in on Monday. And then I had opted for a D&C because I wanted to do genetic testing to see if it was Triploidy again or what. But I was just like, I need answers as to why this happened. Didn't want to, like, I could have taken misoprostol or, pills to have, like, miscarry at home and deliver at home. And they had told me that that could be an option. And then whatever tissue I pass, I basically put in a Tupperware and put in the fridge and bring to the lab for them to test. Because if I wanted to do testing, yeah.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I'm like, that is like so insensitive. I'm like, I'm not going to put my dead baby in the fridge.
No
I'm not doing that.
kidding.
Yeah.
Like, I had a friend who had a miscarriage and they made her do it at home. And it just kind of like happened and, but I can't imagine then wanting to do genetic testing and them being like, yeah, you can put it in your fridge. What?
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to do that. And then like it can take days, right? And I'm like, that's not how I'm spending my daughter's first birthday.
No kidding.
I'm not doing that. So thankfully I was able to get in for a D&C on the Monday before. And then genetic testing came back as trisomy 22. So again, fluke, rare, random thing to happen, not something we're a carrier of. We met with a genetic counselor and she was like, you just have bad luck. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Like, what the hell?
Can my bad luck run out? Like, why? Why do I have bad luck with this?
So it was the same trisomy?
So trisomy 22. So rather than like she had 3 sets of the 22 chromosome. So she was like, it's just the chromosome got stuck together, didn't divide properly. I don't know how exactly that works, but it just was a fluke thing.
That doesn't help me feel better. I had a doctor say to me that like a million things have to go right for a pregnancy to actually be successful. And I'm like, yeah, but why does it go right for everyone else?
Right.
Like, why not me? Like,
right.
This is stupid.
That doesn't make me feel any better.
Right. Like,
and I feel like
fluke, like, cool, great.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, right? Why me?
Yeah.
And I feel like you don't know that until you get pregnant and like you truly realize how much of a miracle pregnancy is and a healthy birth is. Like you're not taught that like in school, in health class, you're taught like don't have sex because you'll get pregnant on the first try and you'll have a baby.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And like, that actually does happen for some people. That is, again, why was it so hard for it? And not that it was hard for me, but like it was why didn't mine end like that? Like because I want to be a mom and I want to be in this situation, and why can't I be in that person's life where like it just is not fair?
And it struggled too with like how many people drink during pregnancy or smoke cigarettes or do drugs or eat lunch meat and could get listeria. It's like I literally was doing everything by the book and not eating raw eggs, like not eating deli meat, like not doing all these things. And it's how many people out there, I don't know. It's just
especially
sucks.
For your second too. Like I've done this before. I know like how to do this, and I know like why does this keep happening to me? Like it's such a doubling down feeling almost.
Yeah, it just why? Again, why?
Right.
And to be told it's just bad luck. It's like, okay. Did my bad luck run out yet?
How do you feel moving forward after your second?
We took some time off. So I nursed Maya
Yeah.
for a while, and so I had only had like 3 periods since stopping breastfeeding, and so my cycle wasn't like super regular. So I was like, okay, let's take some time off. Let's get my cycle back a little bit more normal, and we'll start trying again.
I'm sure that's like a whole heavy decision too.
100%. Yeah.
Like it's all so weighted. Whereas
It just knowing like, can I lose another baby? Right? Is
definitely.
I just like I have to prepare for my next pregnancy could end in another loss, and can I go through that again? After losing Oakley, one of the books that I had read was the Baby Loss Guide.
You read a lot of good books.
What was that?
You read a lot of good books because you
Yeah.
gave me a lot of good suggestions.
Yeah. Somebody had recommended that one to me, and I really liked that because it was just like little like a question and then like a little snippet, right, of this person's life, and you could kind of like flip through it and be like, okay, like this section talks about going back to work. Like that's what's pertinent to my life right now. I'm going to read through that. Or this section talks about trying again or being intimate with my partner again, or like just different sections like that. So you could read what section was like pertain to what was going on with you and how you related to that. So I just remember there was one section I had highlighted, and it was like, my want to be a mom and have a baby is greater than my fear of losing another child. And that's what got me through it. It was just like, I want to be a mom. I like, obviously I'm a mom to Oakley, right? But like, I want to raise a baby, and go through that whole life event, you know? And so it just like,
Such a good statement.
yeah, that's what got me to the point of being able to start trying again.
Yeah, like it's yes, it was the absolute worst. And I made a TikTok about this the other day. Yes, it was the absolute worst thing that has ever happened, but it's also the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Carrying her. And maybe this is a good question to ask you. Like, I don't know how I feel about when people are like, but you are a mom. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm not, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm not her mom because I am, but
Right.
it's not the same.
It's
like,
just
you have
different.
a kid. Like, I want a kid.
Yeah.
And it's just a different.
I think everybody is going to resonate with the word differently, right? Celebrating Mother's Day, that first Mother's Day after losing Oakley. Like, yes, I was a mom, right? But it didn't feel the same as celebrating Mother's Day last year when I was able to hold my baby, right? It was really nice that my family celebrated me on Mother's Day, and like got lots of texts and messages from people, you know, and it's like everybody's going to feel differently about the term and how, you know. So I think it's just kind of like you have to figure out what works for you, what resonates with you, what makes you feel the best, and what makes you feel like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm saying, but it's just
like feel better. Like,
yeah.
That I hate saying that because I'm not going to feel better, but I'm feel seen in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think like I hate the question of like, was this your first, or how many kids do you have? So I'm sure you probably have dealt with that. Like, oh, do you have kids? And I got to the point where I was just like, yep, I've got one in heaven. Or, you know, or no, this isn't my first pregnancy. The first one was a loss, you know?
Like when you're so honest about it, it's one, it's honoring Oakley, and two, it's we need to talk about this shit. Like,
yeah,
we really do.
But I kind of like sometimes I wouldn't say that, and sometimes I would, and it kind of was what like headspace I was in. Like, do I have the capacity to have this conversation with somebody right now? Like a lot of times I would get that question at work, right? Like I'm a nurse and I work in pediatrics. She's waking up. So is it professional of me to have this conversation with my patient's mom, right? Do I have the capacity to like have this conversation without breaking down and crying right now and just like leave it at what it is? And there were some families that I told because it was like I had taken care of them for so long, and some of the
Close to them.
yeah, and some of the families were like, oh, I'm really sorry, like, and then would share their story, right? I feel like once you share your story, so many people will share their story, and it's so many people have gone through loss that you don't know about it because it's just not talked about. And I get it's hard to talk about.
That's something that I've noticed with sharing. So many people have dealt with this, and they're like, oh, I didn't even realize that like I should start to share my story. And I'm like,
right. And
God.
it's like, it's to each their own. It's your story,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
If you don't want to share, 100% totally okay. Just know that like you're going to receive support, right? If you do share, and other people are going to open up. I've just received so much support since sharing about my losses.
Yeah. Do you have to go get Maya?
No, she's laying there. She's good.
I guess kind of snowballing on that, something that like friends, family, like what's something that people did either after Oakley or after your second, like that you felt was like the most validating in your grief? Like what helped you so much?
I feel like the biggest thing was just that so many people still checked in, like weeks later, months later. Certain people remember dates. Some people remember April 7th and April 10th, you know, and so I've gotten texts on both of those days. And I don't expect people to remember. Like,
Right.
I
But it's
don't
just that
expect people.
extra layer of like, yeah.
Yep. And so when people celebrate Oakley's birthday, and yeah, just send messages of like, hey, thinking of you today, like, how are you?
Yeah.
And after losing Oakley, one of my best friends got pregnant like a couple weeks after, and I was going to be hanging out with her and we were going to grab drinks, and she had texted me beforehand and was like, just so you know, like, I want to tell you this so that you can like process on your own terms, which was so incredibly thoughtful rather than like springing it on me in person. Because like obviously I was so happy for her and so excited for her, but it was like just like a punch right to the gut that I was like, we should be pregnant together. We should be raising our babies together. You know, it was like, I just like grieved a whole nother loss basically. And I was like, I'm so happy for you. But my initial reaction was tears and how sad I am for me, you know, like
Which
it's selfish, but it's, yeah.
Yeah. And people that allow you to be selfish, that's so important too. It's like, I understand that this feeling is a lot, and I know that like what I'm feeling is heavy, but people that allow that space, like your friend that was like, I want you to be able to deal with this on your own, like that's so important. Like,
and it was like something that I didn't even realize that like I would have needed, right?
totally.
And I feel like just people who gave me the space to talk about Oakley, that was so important too, because it's like I just had a baby, right? Like I want to talk about this major life event that's going on in my life. I can't just not talk about it. But I feel like people are also like uncomfortable talking about it, or uncomfortable with me like sitting there crying, having a conversation over dinner, you know, but it's like, this is my reality. This is my life. This is what's going on. So if you are my friend and you want to be a part of this, like I need the space to talk about this, right?
Just see me in my grief. Like I'm not, it doesn't have to be a big deal. We don't have to be like oh my God, Sarah, like it's okay. Like just let me die and just
let
like
me, right.
talk. Like,
Yeah.
Well, another thing I wanted to go kind of back with you, Maya's pregnancy and like your, because how it was like just like 6-ish months that you got pregnant with Maya after.
It was like, so we found out we were pregnant in August, so April to August, whatever that is.
So finding out you were pregnant again, like run me through all of the emotions of pregnancy.
I obviously was excited, right? But like it was a different type of like excitement and fear, right? Like there was so many emotions that were like good and bad, or like it was just like this and this also coincide together. And I learned that that's okay, that all of these different emotions can happen together, right? But I was extremely anxious for majority of her pregnancy. Once I was able to like feel her move around and we got past the 17-week mark, I was less anxious, but for the first 17 weeks I was very anxious.
And you said, I think maybe in a message to me, like you went every week for an ultrasound with Maya?
For a little while, yep. So I had, I stayed with my doctor that had delivered Oakley. I stayed with her because I like, one, you know my story. I don't have to like tell this story all over again. You know everything that's been going on. And she just, like I said, she was like the most compassionate person in general that I have ever met. And I told her to, like, when I was pregnant with Maya, I was like, you were meant to do this. Like there's certain people that are just meant to do certain jobs, and like you were meant for this. So I went back and saw her, and so she had offered, she was like, if you need to come in for weekly heart tone, like Doppler heart tone checks, if you need to like whatever test, like whatever you need to feel comfortable in this pregnancy, let me know and we will do this together. Like we will get through this pregnancy together. Which I just think like finding a care team that supports you and validates you and makes you feel comfortable is the most important thing to have.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I didn't have that. My doctor kind of treated me like I was a teen pregnancy, and
I'm sorry.
What
like
the heck?
No, I'm not a teenager.
I'm
like
literally 31 years old.
Yeah, I want this baby. It wasn't like you know. So
I don't know how much I've told you about, but I started dating Lena's dad, and we immediately got pregnant. So it
Yeah.
was like, it's not like I was like, meeting with this OB and like,
Right.
oh, we're trying and like this
Yeah.
and that. It was like,
Yeah.
hey, nice to meet you. I'm pregnant, and this is my boyfriend who I also just met.
Still want, like, once you found out about her, like, you wanted her.
It was like I've never wanted anything more.
You're
Uh-oh,
right.
I'm frozen.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Am I frozen?
You are on my end, yeah.
Can't get access. Okay.
Oh, there.
That was
I'm
weird.
frozen. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like having a good care team is just so important.
Not as, just
I literally will never go back to her. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't now because I'm in Dallas. But
So with my second miscarriage, my insurance covered the delivery at a hospital like 100%. So I ended up switching. So with Maya, I saw the doctor that delivered Oakley through like 26, 28 weeks. And then I ended up switching just for insurance reasons.
sure.
And so when I got pregnant this last time, was like, okay, well, if I know I'm going to deliver at this hospital, like I'll just go see that doc, like go through them right away rather than switching. And I was not met with like the same compassion. And I don't know if it was just because they're like, you've gone through this before, you know what to expect. But like, I got no resources in the hospital. I got no like booklet, pamphlet, handout, like no little like stone or baby blanket that I got with Oakley. Like I got like none of that. And then just communication afterwards. Like I had waited almost 3 weeks to like even hear back from my provider when I had messaged twice for questions. So I just was like, yeah, I'm not going to see you again. And I don't have to see you again, right? Like that's
My choice.
That's my choice. So I'm like, well, I'll just go back to the doctor that I saw with Oakley. And so just go back to her. And I'm like,
devastating. And it's like,
Yeah.
why are you in this field? If you,
Right.
you don't have that compassion and care, like you have to deal with this all the time. I know you
all
do.
the time. I mean, like when I talked to her, she was nice and like was like, do you have any questions? But then like I had asked, can you run like an infection test? She didn't run that because I was like, I don't know what's the cause of this miscarriage. She didn't run that. And then she had mentioned like, oh, like maybe we'll need to see genetics, but then never followed up with that. So I was like, so I just went back to the doctor that had delivered Oakley and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. They mentioned like maybe see genetics, maybe not. She was on vacation. I got an automated message back saying like she's out of the office until whatever day.
Yeah.
2 hours later, she messaged me back and was like, I put in a consult, like, and responded to me on vacation and had already like put in a consult, so I'm like, I love her and I will go back to her always.
It's like, screw this insurance situation. I don't care. Yeah, it truly is. It's so important. And especially when you have dealt with it before, this is terrifying. It feels like, was it not a life to you guys? Like,
Right.
This was a baby. Like, this wasn't like just I wasn't just sick with
Issue.
flu.
I don't know.
I was pregnant with the baby.
Right.
Like,
Right. This is my daughter. Like,
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So did you found out her gender then?
yeah. So another girl, 3 girls.
All girls. And doesn't the gender come from the sperm?
100%.
He's just full of girls.
Yep. But he's one of 3 boys. So I feel like we like went into like getting pregnant knowing it's like, you're only going to have girls because you only have brothers.
Totally. I love that.
So statistically, like the next one could be a boy, but who knows? Yeah, so she had offered me to go in for like weekly heart tone checks, like come in as often as I wanted. And I was going like every other week in the beginning. So I had actually had like extremely bad cramping in the beginning with Maya. And so at like 6 weeks, I remember it had like woke me up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, the pain. And I was like, something's not right. So again, went back to urgent care, but I was like, I am going to a different urgent care. I am not going back to the one where we lost Oakley in, and got an ultrasound because they were worried about an ectopic pregnancy. So then it's just like, you're met with all of those emotions again. Like, what are we going to find out? Right. And I had asked, I was like, after this ultrasound, I am not coming back to the waiting room. I need my own private room because this is what happened last time. And so it's just like, you find yourself advocating for yourself in ways that you never would have thought that you would have had to. And like asking for things that like should just be a guarantee, right? Like I shouldn't have to sit in a waiting room sobbing for an hour after I just found out my baby died. That shouldn't be a thing.
Or after, like,
right.
You shouldn't have even had to go to urgent care. Like,
Right.
that in itself is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
Right.
yeah.
Like I should have been able to meet with that OB that could have waited 5 minutes, but
Exactly.
yeah, they were like, okay, yep. So it's a different urgent care. We did the ultrasound, baby was in the uterus, like things were good. And I went back to a private room until the doctor could come and like talk with us, which was reassuring and just nice.
Yeah.
And then I had like my 8-week scan, like a normal routine visit. And then I think I went in probably at like 10, 12 weeks for like fetal heart tone checks, probably just like for peace of mind. I think I missed the 12-week one because I got COVID. And then I was stressed because I know. So then I was stressed because I had a fever of like over 100. And I'm like, what is this doing to the baby? And then I just like spiral because I'm sick and COVID and first trimester in pregnancy is like the worst time to get, So then I was stressed. So then I went back to urgent care because I was like, I just need to check on this baby and make sure this baby is
urgent
okay.
care.
Yeah. So went back to urgent care, but did a heart tone check, like baby was fine. So I was like, okay. But I was just like, I need to make sure that this baby is okay. And then they were able to find a heartbeat on a Doppler. So I ended up buying a bedside Doppler on Amazon.
I was going to say, you need a Doppler at home.
Yep, I have one now. So then I just checked on her, I don't know, every couple days for a while. It was like every day, but it was like whenever I'm feeling anxious, just going to check on her. But I also feel like I'm like, okay, if I can't find her, I can't freak out. I can't panic about it. Like it's a thing I bought on Amazon, right? So it's,
I'm not a doctor.
yeah, exactly. But thankfully I was able to find the heartbeat every time.
Good.
And then from 14 to 17 weeks, I like went in routine, like every week for a heart tone check because I was just like, that time frame was just very difficult.
I bet.
Yeah.
And then like delivering her, I'm sure that kind of brought up all kinds of emotions too, because it's like the last time I delivered a baby.
Right. Yeah.
Lovely.
Is right. So like, is this delivery going to be okay? Is this baby going to be okay? Yeah. The whole, all 38 and a half weeks that I carried her, it was a roller coaster. And then it was like, we didn't share on social media until I was like 26 weeks, 28 weeks, because it was like, obviously if we had another loss, I'm open to talking about it, but I don't want to share and then have to share again of like, oh, just kidding, she died, like.
I was talking to my mom last night because we didn't share that we were pregnant mostly.
Yeah.
It was like, I just introduced y'all to this man. But I said to my mom, like, I am so glad that I told you before, like, everything happened, because I can't imagine, like, then calling you and being like, I was pregnant, but we lost her.
But now we're not. Yeah. Because you reached out to me, I feel like I remember, it was like, you were 11 weeks.
That's
and you
right.
you had reached out, you're just like, I just want to share that, like, I'm love how you like honor Oakley and talk about Oakley. Like, I'm 11 weeks pregnant and I'm just super anxious. Like, I just remember getting that message because I was like, one of the first times I had heard from you in years, Yeah. So
I was like, literally, I do on TikTok, I do like a gratitude practice. And this morning I said, I'm thankful for Kaitlin because just like, I'm in awe of how much, like, I was a very toxic person at that point in my life. And I'm very thankful that you like put that aside and you just like saw me in my whole everything and you were so compassionate and you like, I did a lot of bad things. Like, I was not a nice person. You live and learn. I'm so thankful for the person that you were for me in that time. And I'm like, I know I reached out to her, but I can't remember when. But then when you just said that, I'm like, oh yeah, because I was like, I used to look at like your pictures of Oakley and like just be devastated. Like, I cannot even comprehend like what that would feel like and all of these things. And then when it happened, I was like, you're the only person that I could even imagine reaching out to. Like, the only person that would even know what to do, what to think, how to handle this.
Like, every loss is different, right? Like, so we can relate that we both lost at 17 weeks, which also is wild, 17 weeks in April.
I say that all the time. Like, there are so many different experiences. We can have shared feelings, but different experiences.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I had shared about Oakley and was open about it because I was like, if this helps one person, then great. Like, that's what I want. I had known a couple people that had gone through miscarriages, but not many, and they hadn't really talked about it.
Yeah.
So I was just like, if I can help one person, great. And so I didn't want you to be alone, and I knew the emotions that you were probably going through, or some that were similar, right? And so it just like, obviously what's going to help me is not going to help you and not going to help the next person, but like, this is what helped me. These were the resources that other people had offered me. This is what I found to be helpful. Pick and choose what you want to use, right?
Yeah. And I think you even said, like, this may not be something that you want right now, but I'm giving it
Hmm.
to you for whenever you feel like you're ready for this. And I think
Yeah.
that was also something that was so helpful. Like, I couldn't imagine at the time, like, wanting to speak to strangers. I had a girl that I was friends with at the time have someone reach out to me that had had miscarriages before. And
Hmm.
she was doing it, being like, this is someone that you can talk to that has experienced the same. And I'm like, I don't want
Hmm.
to talk to a fucking stranger right now.
Yeah.
Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding? Like, I have 35 unread text messages. I don't want
Right.
one of them to be from a stranger. Like,
Right.
I, yeah, but I,
It like it she meant well, I'm sure, but if she hadn't gone through it, like you can empathize and you can imagine, but until you go through a loss, you don't know that pain.
it's such an empty pain. Like,
Hmm.
there's just, yeah. I
Yeah.
like go back to the day after, and I think I like texted you in the morning, like the day after I got home
Hmm.
from the hospital. I don't even know how to live life right now. Like, his dad was like down in Dallas. I was in my apartment by myself, and I'm like,
Yeah.
at,
Now what? Where's my will to live even
exactly,
at this point?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I remember I would wake up in the morning and cry. I woke up crying every single morning for days. And Brady would wake up before me and we'd go downstairs and we binge watched One Tree Hill. That was like our show that we did, and we watched that over again. But I would wake up crying and go downstairs on the couch, watch One Tree Hill, cry, sit in the dark, and thankfully it was like an 80-degree week in April, like weirdly warm that week. And so we got outside every day, just sat on the deck in the sun and cried. And it was just like, I just cried all day long. And eventually it got less and less. But yeah, woke up and cried, went to bed crying.
Was it like grieving with him? Like, is that something that like you guys felt like put a strain on your relationship? Do you feel like it like really brought you closer?
It definitely just brought us closer. I remember being like, this is not something that is going to tear us apart. Like, a loss like this is something that can make or break you, right? Like, it's either going to bring us closer or it's going to completely tear us apart. And neither of us were going to allow that to happen. So we just both would tell each other what we needed, right? And so it's hard because you don't even know what you
I don't know
need,
what I need.
right? But I got into therapy. I read different books. I followed different Instagram accounts. That's the other thing. It's like all my Instagram and TikTok, it was like strollers and baby clothing and baby products and all this stuff. So it's like, well, now I need to go change my algorithm to figure out, like, so I don't just see constant baby products thrown at me every single
Literally
day.
everything. I remember like trying to decide what stroller I'm gonna get because apparently
Hmm.
that's like the biggest decision ever. And like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I like everything that I then was scrolling through. Even my
Yes.
prenatal that I was taking. Like, I canceled it and then like went in and it said like, why are you canceling? Like, and one of the options is that I had
Yeah.
a miscarriage. Not even 4 days later they sent me an email for how to start trying again. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck you.
I selected the option that was miscarriage. Like, you really think that that is an appropriate email?
What kind of marketing is this?
Yeah. You
Like,
need a new marketing team.
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I called me his dad that day because I then had gone down to Dallas and I was
Hmm.
in a hotel, like just sobbing all day, every day. And I
Hmm.
got that email. I was like, I'm going to write them a nasty email.
Yeah. You should.
Yeah. He was like,
Yeah.
it probably is just like an automated. And I'm like, I don't care. That's not okay.
You should have some way to unclick that this email sends if you click
Yes.
this option for why you're not taking it anymore.
Right. Like, this is
Yes.
pretty simple. And like,
Right.
you,
If the option is there for miscarriage, then the
yes.
option should be to not have this email.
Yes. Know that I am no longer pregnant.
Right.
So why would I want to start trying again four
Right.
days later?
Yeah. Yeah. No. But yeah, so just really like telling each other what we needed. And we would go to bed talking like, okay, like, how do you feel today? How are you doing? Where's your mind at? So just like having a really open conversations. And I'd ask him, like, obviously boys and girls grieve differently. And he was like, it's not that I'm not grieving, but like, this is happening to you, right? It's happening to your body. You're physically going through this loss, whereas I'm not. And he's like, I obviously connected to the baby, but just connected in a different way, right? So it's different
Physically
for,
connected to your body.
right. So it's just different for the male.
Yeah.
And so asking him like, what he needs, or like, do you
Yeah.
need therapy? Do we need couples therapy?
Right.
I felt good with just me going to therapy, and he didn't feel like he needed any at the time. But it just open communication and talking to each other and just being like, okay, what do you need today?
Yeah.
Or I just go up to him and start crying, and needed a hug, you know, and so he'd just sit there and hold me for a while. So it was,
That's the, like,
yeah,
I feel like the most processing I did through it was just sobbing. Like,
yeah,
really I just sit and cry on the
yep,
couch. And
yep. And sometimes I wouldn't even, like, it would just start crying out of nowhere. Like,
yeah,
nothing set it off. I don't know. I just started crying.
literally all the time.
Yep.
I spent a lot of time down in Dallas, and I would literally
Hmm.
just be sitting on the couch, we're watching TV, and I'm like starting to cry.
Yeah.
His dad like would look over and, what's wrong? What do you mean
Yeah.
what's wrong? What do you think is wrong?
What do you think is wrong? Yeah.
It's not
Yep.
new.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's,
Or we'd have to like skip through episodes if there was like, you know,
oh,
pregnancy or,
sure.
you know,
Right.
anything related to that, we would skip through episodes.
Something after Oakley died. So I loved how you honor her. Planted, was it lavender?
So I didn't plant lavender, but lavender was going back to like the pre-op room. The pre-op nurse had asked me like, "Do you want any scents on you?" And I love lavender, and so I was like, "Yeah, you can put a lavender one on." And then I thought about it. I was like, "I don't know if I want lavender because I don't know if I want to like have this scent always associated with this moment."
Yeah.
But now looking back, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm glad I have that because now every time I smell lavender or see lavender, I think of Oakley. So no, I didn't plant like, lavender, but I have a bunch of lavender things. And I actually, my brother and sister-in-law gave me a candle for Mother's Day that is oak and lavender scented. And I was like, how perfect is
That
that?
is so perfect. I love that. That is
Yeah.
so sweet.
Yeah, but somebody had gifted me like a rose bush, so I planted that. Yep, and the different like a wind chime that has like a different quote on it. Another plant, lots of flowers.
And you did a necklace too?
Yep, yeah. So then I found on TikTok, Milk and Stone is a company out of Australia, but she had come up across my page. I think once I had started searching like pregnancy loss things, and so I ended up getting. So after Oakley, like once we got like all of her testing done and everything, I got her ashes. So they actually had sent it to the cremation society, and then I got her ashes back. I went to the cremation society and picked up her ashes. I'm like, never did I think that I'd be walking in and picking up my daughter's ashes, right? And then once I got that,
That phone call too. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I like
no,
that
that's fine.
phone
Yeah.
call was, I didn't expect that to be like, holy shit, what? She's like, and then we'll send you a document and you have to sign, and then her dad has to sign. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, what? Like,
Yeah.
it's just insane. You just
Yeah.
never expect to like,
Go
what
through.
funeral home is your daughter
Yeah.
going to? I don't
I was gonna say picking out at the hospital, cremation society, funeral home, burial. Like, what are you gonna do?
I
I
don't know.
don't know.
That's,
Mm-hmm.
they literally came in not 20 minutes after I gave birth. What
Mm-hmm.
funeral home is she going to? And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't,
Haven't thought about it. I don't
I
know.
have no idea. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, think about it and we'll come back. An hour later, what funeral home?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about that.
I need days to think about that.
Yeah,
Like yeah,
seriously. My sister-in-law actually just called a bunch of funeral homes.
that's nice.
Like, this is the one she's going to. I'm like, thank you.
Did you cremated
Yep,
Nina's ashes,
we
right?
cremated her. Yeah,
Hmm.
and I have her just in a little. I need to get like a cuter jar.
Yeah.
Just the one that like cremation society gets you. It's like
Yep.
plastic
Yep.
jar.
Yeah, so I found Milk and Stone. So
Yeah.
I got a necklace made with her ashes, and it took a while for me to do it because I was just like, I have to put a teaspoon into this bag of ashes and scoop part of her out and ship her to Australia. I'm like, it just was. I was like, I'm not ready to open this up. I'm not. Is that sirens annoying?
No, you're good.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
there, but I like it. I live downtown Dallas,
Yeah.
and I hear sounds all the time, but I
Okay.
sometimes I
Just
listen
ignore
back
them.
to my videos. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
you actually really can hear, so it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So just was like getting a teaspoon of her ashes, right, and putting it in another Ziploc bag, and then sending it on. And then like, what do you do with the teaspoon? Because there's ashes left on it. It's like I don't want to just throw that away, but I can't get. You know, like
I'm just
it's all.
supposed to rinse it off, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so it just took a while and then to like go to like ship her off to Australia, right? Thankfully they are amazing with like updates. So it's like I got an email once her ashes were arrived, and then throughout the entire process of making the necklace too, it's like it's this stage, this stage, this stage, your ashes will ship here, and then got a tracking number. And so she arrived back to me safely in a beautiful necklace.
I also did a piece of jewelry.
Yeah. And did you do a ring?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's been not a great experience. And I'm like,
Really?
something that it just pisses me off because I'm like, this is your entire business. Like, her communication is terrible. So I got a ring and the stones kept falling out. And so I messaged
Oh
her and I
gosh.
was like, is
Yeah.
this a thing? It's my understanding that her ashes are underneath each stone. So like every time a stone falls out, I lose her ashes. Like that's just
Right.
not okay to
That's
me.
not okay. Yeah.
And
hmm
she's like, oh yeah, that happens a lot with that ring.
Then why do you keep making this ring?
Literally, I'm like, okay, so, and she's
Yeah.
like, well, we can swatch it out for this ring. And I'm like,
hmm
actually, that'd be great if we can do
Yeah.
that. Let's do that. Then she's like, yeah, that process takes 5 weeks. Cool, sounds good. Here's the ring
Yeah.
back. That was 10 weeks ago today. I'm like,
And you still don't have it?
and I
Oh my
keep being like,
gosh.
so what's going on? She's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
just waiting for the band to come in. I'm like, you're just terrible at this.
Yeah. That's like, do you realize how personal these ashes are and how much this means to me? Like,
This is my daughter, and it's
yep.
really the only piece of her I have. Yeah.
Be gentle with these, please.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, I struggled with, because I researched around and found different things on Etsy or different like companies on Instagram. And I was just like, this one is just the reviews that it had and like the process. It just made me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So that's why I ended up going with her, and it turned out beautiful. And I found her on TikTok, I think, and then went to Instagram and messaged her on Instagram because it was like, you can include different inclusions. And it was like, do you want opal or like different birthstones or different, like just different inclusions. And so I had asked her, I was like, well, what, like, this is my story. What do you think would look best?
Right.
And she had actually told me that like the ashes with just like an opal background would kind of make it look like the ashes were like river rocks. And so each ash is like unique to each individual person. And so it was like, no ashes are going to be the same. And so some actually shine and have different colors once they're like wet, like river rocks.
Yeah.
So I ended up going with that.
I love that. That's so
Yeah.
pretty. I loved that when you did was it your announcement or on Oakley's birthday with like pregnancy photos?
Pregnancy photos with Maya. I just did some pregnancy photos with Maya. Yeah. But then include, like, I was wearing Oakley's necklace, and then our photographer had gotten like some lavender and included that in pictures and stuff. So
I love that. I love that. Oh, I love this one. What's something you learned about yourself through all of this?
Gosh. Resiliency. Being able to be resilient, being able to go through hard things and coming out on the other end and coming out stronger, and just, I feel like I have become more, I don't know if I'd say more of like a confident person, but just confident in my decisions, where I'm like, this is for my daughter, and
Yes.
I'm not going to hold back. Right.
I love
And so
that.
just like feeling stronger and confident in the decisions that I'm making. And when people ask me, I'm going to, like, everybody I know asks questions about pregnancy, like with good intentions, right? Like there's no intentions to be ill harmed, but like you don't know how loaded of a question that is for the person if you don't know their backstory, right? And so just being honest about what I have gone through and being open about it. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just like either reword your, or like, if you're not prepared for the answer that I'm going to give you, then maybe don't ask the question. So putting like my emotions first, which I know can sound very selfish.
Be selfish.
It's my reality. It's me, you know, I'm allowed to put myself first. I'm allowed to put my family first. And so I think just like you asking this question, it's like, I don't have to tiptoe around your emotions. So I feel like just like, that's why I was like, I don't know, confident, stronger, like just allowing myself to be a little bit more selfish with emotions.
Totally. Oh my God, that is so real. I love that. Almost gaining confidence in yourself and being like, no, this is so important to me because I am the only voice that she has.
Right. Yeah.
I love that. Similar question, but I talk a lot about it on my TikTok. And my therapist asked me one time, what strengths of yours got you through that year? And I love to talk about this. What strengths of yours?
Gosh, I feel like just really owning my emotions. My therapist had also told me, like, don't wish away emotions. And so allowing yourself to sit in the emotions that you're feeling in the moment and then moving on, right? I was like, I'm ready to, like, I'm not a sad person. Like, I am ready to not be sad. I remember telling my therapist that I'm just like, this isn't who I am, but I don't know how to get out of it. And I'm just ready to not be crying all day, every day.
Yes.
And she was like, well, you can't speed up this process, right? You're doing all the right things, and finding different resources and tools that will help you grieve and process things, but you can't like wish this away. So I feel like being able to sit in each emotion and take it in as it came. It wasn't easy, but I did it. So I think that was helpful for just the whole process and coming out on the other end. Obviously, I still get emotional, but I'm able to talk about her now and talk about my losses now. And I feel like just like family support was a huge thing for me. So it's not like that's not my strength, but just like having that support system was huge.
Being able to lean on them, that
is
definitely a strength, because that's letting go of like almost the control of your own emotions and everything. It's hard.
It is.
Yeah, I guess last thing, just kind of where you're at in healing with it all. I know you mentioned maybe trying again, but I mean honestly, just even more just you, like where's your head at? How are you after the second one, but also having to mom, you know?
So that was back to one of the questions that you had asked me, like what got me through like Oakley's miscarriage. So like, after the second miscarriage, like I don't remember, maybe they told me this after Oakley and I just didn't remember, but I was on a 10-pound lifting restriction after my second miscarriage, and it was for like 3 days. I don't remember being on it with Oakley, and that of course was through Maya's first birthday, so I couldn't pick her up on her first birthday, so that was like so difficult. So my dad came over every day that week and just like picked her up to get her into the high chair for meals, picked her up to change her diaper, picked her up to put her in her crib. It was just like I struggle. I was like, I can't hold my daughter, and that's all that I want right now. And on her first birthday, like I can't pick her up. Like this is not okay. So I just struggled with that a lot. So just like, again, leaning back on family support and just like my dad being there every single day that week was so helpful.
And it's like probably something that's so different now to grieve this miscarriage, because like you can't just sit and cry.
Right.
Like you have Maya. So it's like, how do you handle that?
Yeah, it was right. Like you said, it was just a very different grieving. Like I cried obviously, but like I remember coming home that Friday after finding out that this baby her heart had stopped. Maya was crying about something, and I just looked at her and I just started sobbing, and I was like, it's mommy's turn to cry right now. Like I don't even remember what she was crying about, but it was like I don't even remember. I don't remember what she was crying about, but it was like she wasn't heard. It was just like she just was fussing, right? And I was like, it's mommy's turn to cry right now, and I just started sobbing.
She probably doesn't even understand, but
no, I had no idea. But yeah, so just like I didn't have time. Like I wasn't able to just wake up and cry and watch TV all day and sit in my grief. Right? Like I had to take care of a 1-year-old. So it was very different.
You feel like that helped or hurt?
I think it helped. It was a good distraction because I wasn't able to just sit and cry. And I think I like still had all the tools available from losing Oakley I just was like, okay, I opened that Baby Loss Guide book back up and I went through like the highlighted sections, had gone back through like posts about Oakley and like reread those things. I had gone back through my resource list and like reread those things, so it's like I just had tools available this time around. A loss is a loss. I never want to diminish that. Like I miss that baby as much as I miss Oakley, right? But like it was earlier on, so I wasn't able to just like form as much of an attachment as I did with Oakley. And I just feel like I knew in my gut that something wasn't right. So the loss was just different. I don't really know how else to describe it other than it just was different.
Yeah.
And like it still sucked. I still wanted that baby very much.
Right.
Still grieving.
Yeah.
It's just different. Yeah.
This was really good, Kate. I loved doing this. I appreciate
it was fun to chat with you.
So good to chat with you. And I just like I'm so glad that we are where we are, and it's like truly I know I've said this a million times, but thank you for
of course.
You did for me. Like I truly don't think I could have gone into like the emotional week, because you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know. Yep.
thank you for sharing your story, like when it happened, because if you wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have had probably the courage to like reach out.
It sucks that this is what reconnected us, but I'm glad that I was able to be a support person for you, and I'm glad that you were able to you felt comfortable enough reaching out to me, and that I was able to support you.
I hate that this reconnected us, but I'm also really glad it did, because I think I don't know that anything would have reconnected us if not, you know. But I guess anything you wanted to share? Anything else?
Like we covered a lot of topics, a lot of it, right? But just that if you're going through loss, you know, if anybody out there that's listening to that, like if you're going through loss, you're going through the hard times, like you're not alone. There are people out there. Find resources that are helpful for you. Take the time that you need. I took a month off of work, you know, like take the time to heal you and be selfish in this time, and that's okay. But find people to support you, find ways to honor your baby. Yeah, you're not alone, but it feels alone. It feels like
it does feel alone. And there's no way to take away the loneliness, because part of the loneliness it comes from not having my baby
and feeling empty, like you're literally empty inside.
Yeah. This was good. You did great, Kate.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm so proud of you. And
I'm so proud of you for honoring Lena and sharing her story. And like I said, when me sharing one story, like I was like, if it helps one person, like you are out here helping hundreds of women.
It's insane, and I did not expect to go this far. Wild, but it truly, that is something that I've realized with posting is this happens more than
1 in 4, you know, and you don't hear that. So yeah, I'm proud of you for honoring Lena and talking about miscarriage and loss, and just bringing awareness to the whole community, because it means a lot, especially to people who just haven't found their voice or don't feel comfortable sharing their voice or their story.
And I think that, like, truly, that's kind of where it came from. I didn't have my voice. I didn't know what to say, you know, but there's just so much room for it. And I think it's just it's so beneficial.
Kaitlin's daughter woke up for a nap and came and said hi to us and joined us for a little bit. So I edited that part out just out of respect for her family. I wanted to say thanks to Kaitlin for joining, and see you all on the next episode of Not the End. Bye.